Islam, Nobles.
Start down some quick breakfast real quick. Islam.
You stupid. She talking about, he said Islam. Girl, you crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Right. I think we're right here, right? The science of an affidavit?
Yep. Let me double check about this. Let me see. Yeah. I'll just put a little bit more in there. It wasn't a lot. I put it just a little bit. So that's where we at, Noble?
Yeah, if I recall, we
Chapter
should be
3.
right here at chapter 3.
Okay.
Science of the affidavit. I just wanted to read this Mohammedan Bucks Pittsburgh Schools blurb real quick.
Okay. Well, before we get started, Noble, let's do our Moorish American prayer. We can get right started.
Okay. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day. Who is Holy Prophet, Noble Ali, Ayah, Shalom Aleichem, Hotep, Islam, peace, 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 peace to all the Muslims and empresses out there.
Peace.
Peace, peace, peace. Yeah, I'll make it a little bigger. Oops. See it now?
Mm-hmm.
So, Mohammedan Bucks Pittsburgh Schools. A Mohammedan couple is seeking a restraining order against the Pittsburgh School District from requiring the couple's 4 children to attend public schools on Fridays, which will be our holy day, a Mohammedan holy day. Mr. and Mrs. Stevenson Bay petitioned the U.S. District Court yesterday to allow them to keep their children, Tariq Robert 10, Nathaniel 11, and Stone 15 out of classes on Fridays in order to give them instruction at home on the Holy Quran and Moorish American prayers. The Bays contend in their suit that the Pennsylvania School Code is unconstitutional because it denies the children the rights to religious freedom and worship. The suit asserted the subject of the Mohammedan Holy Day has been in dispute in the Pittsburgh School District for 22 years. And so this speaks to our rights to be able to be protected under religious protections and be able to seek remedy to teach our children, all right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Islam, Noble. And it's just like, when we're not talking about more science as a breath of fresh air. When we deal with science and we don't get all caught up in characters and people and this, we take what's historical and we have a right to be who we are. All the infighting should have been stopped. All this stuff that's before our time, man, there's no reason for us to be infighting. It should be a straight up building. But like I said, Nobles, I'm glad we're here and we are an example of that. So gratitude to that teaching, and it's clear, man. A lot of this stuff be clear. So with that being said, Nobles, are we all clear?
Islam.
Because I'm telling you, man, a lot of distractions are getting ready to start happening. I'm telling us, I promise y'all, and it's coming from our own people. When I say we lost due to a lack of wisdom, when I tell brothers, a lot of this stuff is happening, you're going to see your own people talking crazy. It's a reason, it's a motive. Stay on your square, because if you can take and act, and let's see if we all agree to this. You can take every misnomer, whatever they want to call them, European, Albion, Tralodike, what all that, off the face of the earth, and it only be Moors and whatever other national or name people want to call themselves. That's our hue. It'll still be violence and crime.
Yep. We still wouldn't be getting along. We'd still be fighting.
I mean, because when brothers really, Noble Lamarck, Noble Marceau, and Solomon, when brothers really be talking that stuff about the misnomer of black man and all this stuff, if you grew up in a community, man, a lot of stuff happened to you and your people from people that look like you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just a fact. Well, now when we talk about crime and things, crime is done in certain geographic areas where people are. So if you are European and you live in a certain area, you're going to be doing a crime where you stay or in that geographical area, unless you some type of serial killer where you going state to state, or you know what I mean? You understand the context of what I'm saying? All this stuff that we're doing, man, is really making everyone look stupid, because the proof is here. And that's what I'm saying. If we relax and we all have the same mission of righteousness and education and understanding who we are, we can agree. So with that being said, nobles, let's jump in this Adapt science. We in chapter 3.
Yeah.
And where we at is the Adapt science of an affidavit. What we try to speak here at the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, and as a group of Moors under a particular science, we're here to prove all things and hold fast to what is good. We're not here to be prejudiced over no science, because Moorish science is not a religion. When you listen to people and say, "Oh, I'm not part of a temple because I'm not part of a particular religion," well, I'm here to tell you, Moorish science is not a religion. And if any temple promulgating a certain religion, then that temple and that body is wrong. And if prophet is not right, that temple is not right. What we're doing here is breaking things down that's simple. We're basing the Moorish Quran to law. Not here to base things on how people feel or talk about an individual or talk about this and that and somebody's this. We can care less of that, because there never was a time when man was not. We adapt thinkers. So we must always stand strong on that. So the affidavit, when properly used, can you slide over a little bit? I think our face is kind of...
Can I make it maybe a little bit smaller?
Gratitude, Noble. And then slide it over to, yes, gratitude, Noble. There we go. Gratitude. So the affidavit, when properly used, especially when leveraged by your status as a free national citizen. Don't get caught up with the word citizen. Just stay in the context, please, because people be getting caught up in misunderstanding. It's the most powerful instrument available, defending, protecting, and asserting your national citizenship rights. For this reason, it is incumbent upon you to become practiced in its use and its use and in your ability to recognize its many forms. If you are unable to recognize when affidavits are being solicited, Moors, you may be unwittingly duped of other parties attempting to create a binding contract. And at the time, a look into the understanding of contracts, aka affidavits, and the laws that govern them in today's commercial world will help one see this, or will see the application that the affidavit is applied in, and its many forms. Contracts are classed under business law, which is private law. So before we even get into the thing about a person understanding the law, like when I talk about different type of doctors. And what type of doctor are you? It's different sciences. So when we speak of someone talking about they a writ writer and they talk about some affidavits and all this, well, contracts are classed under business law. So before a person even go there, the first thing you should understand, or they should understand, is breaking down business law, all the terms, which is private law. So if you're not being broken down in a situation of understanding what you can do privately and not willingly being a third party and putting a third party in your contract, it's very, very messed up. Private law is that part of substantive law governing individuals, nationals, and legal entities. So when they talk about the 14th Amendment citizens known as persons, remember, persons it's the same thing. Black people, Latinos, colored people, African Americans, white persons, and corporations in their relationships with one another. Substantive law. So you can't arbitrarily explain the law. You can't, and you can't be mad. That's the problem with a lot of Moors have when they arbitrarily try to explain the law, and when they try to take something and they don't understand restrictions. And so you can't say no contest as a defense. They'll let you rot. But substantive law creates defends and regulates legal rights and obligations, thus the rule of contract law that determines when a binding contract is formed are rules of substantive law. You gotta know that. You gotta know what procedural laws set forth the rule for enforcing those rights that exist by reason of what? Substantive law. So in order for this to happen, this must happen. So you can't base anything on a lie. See, that's how, when I say no one can come to a person that's a real scientist and understand this, because you can't double talk me. And thus procedural law defends the method by which to obtain a remedy in court. Remember why? Because the person that leave the battlefield first, you guilty by leaving, right? Not defending yourself. See, this stuff is very simple. This is what we call the elements. None of this is complex. Public law is the branch of substantive, is the branch. So if it's a branch, it's an extension. Law that deals with the government rights and powers and its relationship to individuals or groups. When we talk about our other science that we haven't even jumped in the civic part, our other teaching, what is called, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Y'all got the documents. We ain't even went over that yet. We going through over that next and jump in the whole civic part of that and break it down very, very, in academia, when we talk about the root, when we talk about the main research, I deal with the main research. Like I sent y'all a book last night. We talk about main research, the historicalness of things. A lot of things be gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared, but we deal with a lot of the main research. So that's what we must do, so we can be manufactual in what? All law. Islam?
Islam. And you're talking about the conquest of Florida, right?
Come on, Noble. And when you read that, you will understand what's happening. Look at the time period. Like, it's very simple. I start giving you all historical things to where when you see brothers on the internet, you'll be like, man, you definitely haven't researched. Like, what's the problem? What's the issue? It's a motive. I don't know what the motive is, but it ain't my issue. But public law is that branch of substantive law that deals with the government's rights and powers and its relationship to individuals and groups. Public law consists of constitutional law, administrative, and criminal law. And by the signature of your hand at the legal age to contract 18 years old or before you became of legal age, the signature of your parent or other authority, such as a physician, has been signing you into this so-called, and when I say bondage, you got to understand it ain't no this color, this thing. Everybody has, I'm talking about all so-called misnomer American citizens, whatever you want to connotate it. Bondage since you were born, mostly through ignorance. When we talk about the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, nobody have to listen to me. What does the law say? The Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, and I quote, you have a right of a nationality and a right to change it. No one will be arbitrarily denied a nationality and a right to change it. The claim of child replaces the birth certificate. Am I making that up?
Oh.
Okay. So when people argue about things, I'll be like, man, we're not talking about that. That ain't our issue. We're not here to debate. So certificates of live birth birth certificates, applications for a driver's license, IRS 1040 form, enrollment forms, college, school, voter registration, every single document that this modern commercial system requires others to be bound or obligated by is or requires an affidavit. Let me break this down very, very simple. When a person will, how can I say, try to control your learning. In academia, we call it program learning. When a person will say, well, you don't have to do this and you don't have to give your associate and all this and else to get this and that. And I say, that's true. But then the pendulum swing both ways. If these are requirements of that company per se dealing with something, they don't have to deal with you neither. Islam? Okay. And a person I argue with that all day and I say, man, they won't put their life on what they saying. So a ticket is an affidavit when you have to sign. A marriage license is an affidavit, contract. And seeing this with the eye of the spirit, one's action, deeds, words, and thoughts are all an affidavit. And karma is the rebuted and unrebuted affidavit in one's life, standing as truth in commerce. Now, when we talk about the academic, perspective, when signed, they represent an oath or commercial affidavit executed under penalty of perjury, true, correct, and complete mores. Affidavits also occur in a court setting where testimony, aka oral, when you're speaking out your mouth, when I tell a person you must proclaim, declare, and have due process first, that's something coming out of your mouth. It's stated in judicial terms by being sworn to be the truth, the will of Allah, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Islam? Come on, man. So here is just a little pre-test. We know what we go through. When I say it's a lot of things that we can correct ourselves with things in the light of integrity. Test yourself to see if you comprehend the supra by matching the few preceding statements to one of the 10 maxim of commercial law. Remember, we just broke this down in commercial law when I broke down on the back of the UCC book, when I say this is to use for you not to get in trouble. Like, and a lot of people be taking it and they be getting in trouble. And then they won't tell you the truth. A, of all that is good, sublimity is supreme. B, to tell a lie is to go against the mind. C, he who fails to assert his rights has none. D, he who does not repel a wrong when he can occasions it. And E, he who does deny admits. Let's proceed, Noble. This is good stuff. This is nothing to deny. We're not here to destroy. We're here to build. I'll go a little bit further and then someone can take over. But as a point of authority on an affidavit, no court or judge can overturn or disregard or abrogate somebody's affidavit. The only one who has any right or responsibility or knowledge to rebuke your affidavit, listen clearly, is the one who is adversely affected by it. Just as no one can know what your truth is, it is the affected party's responsibility and obligation to issue their own affidavit and to speak on their own behalf. Commercial law is prejudicial. It establishes the basis for keeping your matters in the private, which is non-judicial or prejudicial, aka without prejudice. It is the only foundation by which governments or any court system can possibly exist or function. All that courts are ultimately adjudicating and making rules about are the fundamental precepts of commercial law. Research this. Commercial processes are non-judicial. They are summary processes without a jury, or summary processes without a jury.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Absolutely.
So when it talks about commercial law being non-judicial, which are processes that shouldn't require, a judicial magistrate, a court, or any of those parties associated with it, if I'm understanding this correctly. because it governs just the basic relationship between one individual entity and another. And so when it talks about in the previous paragraph,
Noble, you just made 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points in one. And I don't even, okay, let me just touch on one point. Just like you said about a contract going in with that person and that person. I just pertain it to like marriage, when you go get a marriage license. Like, why did we think back in the day when they jumped the broom? And a lot of times you can do things in your tribe. A lot of stuff you don't have to do if you understand going in contract with yourself and not bringing in a third party.
So in essence, let me think this out. The right to contract is a right that can't be abrogated, meaning no one can stop you from contracting with somebody. That is your alienable right. Inalienable right.
Just like if you a handyman, right? Just like if you a handyman, and in certain areas, it's a certain fee that you can do handiwork, whatever, without you having to get these license and everything. It's a certain number of dollars you can go and do certain things where you contracting for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? You getting
yeah. I was gonna go back to the marriage thing with her. I know it's a crazy example, but I'm just so you could technically write up as many different marriage contracts as you want. In theory, right? Based off the right to contract. Because if I want to get into a contract with this person, as long as me and that person don't have any issues, there ain't no problems. If I want to get into another contract with this person, as long as me and that person don't have no issues.
Now, as long as you ain't breaching a contract that you already signed. Because see, a contract that a person already signed, based on the contract that they signed with the state, is certain restrictions under that contract, where you can be sued by that woman civilly. You see what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
But when you in tribes, different tribes, they do have more than one empress or more than one wife, one per se, because they doing things based off their customs.
Right, and this is where you talked about adding a third party and bringing the government into your
contract.
Into your contract relationship when you actually go through a marriage license process.
And you don't have to. And you don't have to do that. When you under the tribe, when you're a sheik like we are, say if a noble wanted to go to a union, all I do is go through our Quran the same way I used to do with anybody else. You don't go to the court. We got our own paperwork, and you sign it, and it's a union. All that other stuff doing with the government means nothing. You do it with your tribe. You get all the paperwork from your tribe. The same thing you'll get anywhere else from your tribe. You want a third party sign it, one of the brothers will sign it. Bam, bam, bam. And there you go. We do the ceremony. Bam, it's legit.
And it takes me back to something we read at another previous reading regarding the law of nations and the law of family, is that most of what we do nowadays, and this goes back to when we started this affidavit section, most of what we do nowadays is not in our national, for lack of a better term, citizenry status.
Yes.
So because you don't do that, now there's all these other rules about how you got to do it if you don't do it in your own family, i.e. fine and fig tree.
Come on, Noble. You breaking it down very simple.
What we spend time arguing about is other people's ways of doing things, which are already determined, because if you don't have a family that's speaking for you, well, then this is how it rolls.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time arguing about that as opposed to understanding that we have a family and creating or following whatever customs, practices, habits that are already set forth within our respective family by the fig tree,
That's why the teachings say that, Noble. The religious rights of the indigenous people clearly says what we have the right to do. We a tribe, we a brother, we willingly. That's what a tribe and a nation consists of. A tribe and a nation don't have to have their own money. So a lot of people say that. I say you got to be crazy. That's stupid. A tribe is people that's under understanding, under a vine and fig tree. I mean, the tribal laws, all these things that protect us, that IE say, this is what we can do as a tribe of people. This is how we go into unions. How? Based off our customs. This is how we do this. Going forward, the old becomes the new. We don't go into no contracts unknowing. Remember, that's like when a lot of people, remember, I go back to common law now, when people sign their names and they don't, and sometimes I say, well, if you're dealing with somebody that's right, you could have signed your name under duress or a lack of knowing in certain areas. If you have somebody like myself and others that's honest, that can read it and defend you in the proper manifestation, especially if you purchasing something, because if you ain't read that contract, you will sign under duress. I'll read everything. And when I talk about consumer law, all of this stuff is tied to it. You have to be willing to do it and not to be looking for a scam. You see, Islam, Noble. So yeah, absolutely. So in commerce, there are two phases phases, assessment and collection. The assessment aspect is about determining who owes who, what, why, how much, and and for what reason. The collection aspect is based in international commerce that has existed more than 10,000 years. It's based on AKA AKA the ancient Canaanite law and the Jewish grace period, which is in unites of 3 days, 3 weeks, and 3 months. This is why you get 90-day letters from billers. See, we're talking about things that we can agree upon. We're not here for all that dogmatic arguing. And without the knowledge of self, Moors, know thyself in Allah, which is the law of the family, just like Noble Lamarck was just saying, which directly ties to your nationality. Asiatics or 14th Amendment citizens won't know the rules nor use them. They don't know what the game is, Moors, and they don't know what to do. They do not know how to invoke their rights, their remedies, and resources. And most get lost in the cares of the world. You seeing it right now. Old men debating, doing everything under the sun except the one and only thing that is the solution to all our overall problems, which is based in law. I don't care what a person believes in. I'm not here to change nobody. But you can't change law, and you can't arbitrarily explain law. And we do have a nationality and a spirituality, and that's a choice, which is a gift. So no one is going to tell you what to do or the solution other than your family, other than a forefather, one sent from among to enlighten to the knowledge of self, ordained from the great God. There's no reason to diss nothing. The Holy Quran of Mecca, Surah 14:4. Such a one is noble, prophet of Allah. In that time, man, I don't have a problem with giving Noble Drali the credit that he did for that time period, just like I give the credit to another one of my founders, Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley, as I study IDMR and teaching you with the church that man made in the image of Elohim. I tell people, man, this is not Crips and Bloods. This is no street gang stuff. This is none of that. And that's the problem with this. What can be done about this solution in Act 6 of our Moorish Science Temple of America and our bylaws is the only solution for all the so-called Moors, Asiatics in the Americas. A declaration is made from the authority of a sheikh of the one temple and or district temple of the state of the nation state. A declaration is an affidavit. I keep telling us, a lot of people will bash things, but at the end of the day, they know the truth. They're like, a sheikh from the temple, yes, he's valid, especially if he's telling the truth. If he's a liar, he's a liar. I don't care what you affiliated to. But the way the temple is set up and the saving power the temple have, everybody know at the end of the day, it is powerful. And that body, what Noble Drali went through on that law side, on that international law side, is valid. I don't care how nobody feel about that part. If you don't like the man, who cares? Somebody don't like me. I'm cool with that too. But in its formal expression, an affidavit is a statement of facts that chronicle the events of a particular commercial or legal matter family, reduced to writing and sworn to or affirmed before a person legally authorized to administer an oath of what? Affirmation, such as a notary. Remember, I'll be telling y'all how we're synonymous. Remember, I'll be telling you the importance. I'll be talking I really be talking in science when I say nobles. You know the importance of us being a notary. I'm saying it. We see it right here, right, Noble Lamar?
Yeah, we.
Okay.
They're the only person legally authorized.
Okay, but come on. So
or affirm oaths.
Huh? So when people be so hey, Noble Lamar, it's a checkmate. It's a right. We just did when you say checkmate. So if anybody filing some paperwork in and trying to send it in, it's mail fraud. Why?
A notary.
It's not notarized.
Ding. And in a court of law, there's no excuse of not knowing the law. We talk about basic stuff. So when you a body, when you a group, when you a body politic, all these things you have set up. Why? Because you a tribe. You have the right to do all this stuff. Come on. We in contract with each other. Why we got to go outside and have somebody that we can do all this on our own? Why? The law tell you, and if you don't want to do it on your own, we'll do it for you. But you're going to be under these rules. You're going to be under these restrictions. Why? Because you don't know the law. I'm your daddy. And y'all know the religious rights trumps everything. Ask the Mormon. Ask the Latter-day Saint. Ask the Amish. Islam?
Islam. We're almost like a superhero who's not using his superpowers.
Oh no, but you getting all in J.A. Rogers. See? Come on. See, man, now you know I love wisdom, and when our flash start bubbling, and the negrito get to bubbling. See, absolutely. From man to Superman, or from Superman to man. Absolutely. When you understand this, when you see the power in this, and when the body is right, everything else is right. Islam. The person making the statement is technically known as the affiant or deponent. I hope y'all know what that means. The affidavit usually contains statements that you can attest to, meaning they better be right, based on your firsthand knowledge, and may also contain statements based on the observations of others. If you indicate this by adding that the information is based on your information and belief. Come on, man, let's keep going. We just making it plain. It's nothing to argue with when we base things on truth. Look at all these terms. Come on. You may sometimes see affidavits titled and referred to as what? Affidavit of truth or affidavits of facts. This is informal and redundant. All affidavits are about the truth and facts. And here are some formal definitions and types of affidavits and the definitions for declaration, since this is used in the definition for affidavits from Everybody Love Black Laws. It's the 6th edition. I don't want to read through all of them. I just want to touch on them. Affidavit, you got affidavit of defense, affidavit of inquiry, affidavit of merits, affidavit of notice, affidavit of service, affidavit to hold bail, declaration. All these terms that a person should understand whatever word you want to use it to before you even proceed in dealing with any science. Or in that science, you will get played because you don't know the language. You must know the language in all disciplines. If not, you done. Guaranteed. Islam?
Islam.
We can go proceed that, we don't have to get all into that part unless we can go past that part. We want to stay in context. We can go past all that. Because there's no reason to bash. I give credit to all prophets. I give credit to Noble Drew Ali. I give credit to Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley. I give credit to Sheikh Anna Diop, Ivan Van Sertima. I give credit to everyone that come with wisdom. This ain't no Crips and Bloods with us, man. I promise y'all, I give credit to the wisdom. I don't care what color, orange, green, purple, red. I don't care. Allah ain't that prejudiced where we just gonna say, oh, well, this we know what kind of blood a person that's inside of them based off the hue of their skin. That's the craziest thing in the world. And we just gonna diss wisdom because we trying to prove a point. I'm not gonna do that. If I can learn from a squirrel, I'm gonna sit down and be under the damn squirrel. Huh? If that squirrel teaching a lesson and I'm just using it as an analogy, well, I'm there for the lesson because I want to be where wisdom is. I'm there for the lesson. Come on, man. So we here at the affidavit of notice and articles of religion. When we tell people things, when we talk about the rights of the indigenous people, how the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School is set up, and how the Moorish Science Temple of America is set up. You want to be a body. You want to be a principality. You want to be a district. You want to be all those so-called words that are synonymous. You want that. If you have a clear understanding how the temple is set up, you want to be a 1099, what everybody clearly don't understand. When I say, if that's the case, how our charter trumps with the Vatican's. If you ask, if you a scholar, I mean, we set up a saying, we are a nation state. I don't understand what people be talking about. I really don't. It's a misunderstanding and a lack of wisdom. It's like looking in the mirror and saying, oh, I'm ugly, and hitting it and busting your hand all up. It doesn't make any sense. But the affidavit of notice and articles of religion made pursuant to Declaration of Rights, Indigenous People, United Nations Resolution 60-147, Human Rights Law, Article 31, Section 1, Articles 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, Hague Convention, and Titles 28, USCA, Section 1746, pursuant to the provisions of 110, 1, 4.2, 6274, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 9, and 10 of the U.S. Constitution, the supreme law of the land, pursuant to the Moorish Science Temple of America, Divine Constitution and Bylaws, Act 6, pursuant to Muslims law, the International Congress of Comparative Laws, C 1945, Volume 14, United Nations Committee on Jurists, pages 375 and 379, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, chapter 47, 9 and 14. Islam? And the land of Alabama Territory by virtue of acts of administration of 1803 and 1953. Keep going. Say what, Empress?
I said, you can see that when I was in class.
Yeah, for now.
Oh,
Yeah, we on good time. Where y'all going to go?
cold.
Y'all always going somewhere.
I got to take a shoe back.
Oh, okay. That's where we at. And trustees, and by the right is the premises of succession under the Constitution and bylaws, Moors, and governmental and ecclesiastical power, and the divine Constitution and bylaws of the Moorish Science Temple of America. A corporation has the right to all property in said trust. In trust, no matter when you alive or dead, when you talk about a power of attorney, that doesn't go away. When I show you how things are set up, trust and authorized to function as a sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America and given the right to propagate the faith of Ali in America. And not saying that make you better than anyone. You must be right. But if a person promulgating Moorish science and they say they're a sheikh and they say they're from the temple, they should be coming right. They should be coming right. That's what I'm saying. The Moorish Science Temple of America branch in certain areas, the writers is from Temple 43, is a lawful chartered organization and has been functioning in the county of Los Angeles and the state of California since 2012. Secretary of State of California has been duly noticed to this fact as of June 5th. Y'all know that. When I show y'all the proclamation that all the states have signed, right? I'm quoting something from 2012. Y'all know that, right? Y'all got all the documents, right, Morris?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, I'm just putting things in perspective. Y'all got all the proclamation with all the states in 2012. Didn't they sign the proclamation?
Yes, they did.
Okay, when this particular incident right here I'm talking about, when you look for it, I'm talking about this particular era is on there. The Secretary of State of California has been duly noticed to this fact as of June 5th, 2015, PS Form 3811-7015. I don't want to give all the numbers, but in due form of a good faith letter the Articles of Incorporated pursuant to 805 LCS. I've read this plenty times, right, y'all? In different instances. So we can go past all that. Let's go past all that, man, because that's redundant. We talking about things that's legit, and nobody can be mad at things that's legit. No one. You know, we want to get back to the law because that'll be all day. We know, like I tell people, the Moorish Science Temple was never set up to be some government body and taking over, overthrowing some government. I tell Moors to read they damn bylaws. Read it. Read Act 4, 5, 6, and 7. I don't know what Moors be talking about. So where we at now? We're gonna jump in this for 20 minutes and we out of here. This where we at, Noble? You want to proceed?
Yeah, sure. Noble? Book 2, The Holy Breath of History. Thus his power extends beyond the great universal creator Allah himself. Holy Quran, MSTA, chapter 47, verse 11, chapter 1 Moors. The etymology of the term Moor has the ancient root MR. Vowels are interchangeable. The root of a word is its consonants, found in Moorish or Moorish, also known as Tamarian or Maru or Amaruka, i.e. the old Moorish language of what has come to be known as Egyptian or Hebrew. The scholarship word known as Kemet that has come down to mean black land or black people land is not the true and divine name for ancient Egypt. The ancient hieroglyphic clearly shows that the proper term is Tamori or Tamori, Tamare, Mr or Pata Mera, meaning the ancient land of Egypt.
Stop right there, Noble.
Yeah.
Now, also, because we always like to teach, we don't get caught up in how I like to say semantics, because we can come with a whole bunch of terms of the continent, what it was called, depending on the language. Like, you know what I mean? Like in the continent of Africa, you had Bantu speaking, you had Yoruba, you had all those different languages. So when we don't get caught up in semantics, we say, well, Egypt wasn't this. We can give it all the names, depending on what dialect. But we know Africa wasn't named after a European, and that was Negro and Eurocentric propaganda. So I just want to make things clear before we proceed, because we're not here for semantics. We're breaking things down based off history and things that you can research. Islam? Proceed, Noble.
Tamari, the land of the Moor, is hidden in the true nationality of the real ancient Egyptians. The word Kemet is the geographical name where the praiseworthy black dirt settled. The root word Mr, an abbreviation for Mr, Master, Moor, comes from the Old Moorish language or letters OML. Commentary. The point of authority needs to be addressed before we continue Brother Walker Bay's academic discourse. MR has a deeper meaning in its relation to the Moorish American titles Bay and L. MR, as we are gathering from the Supra, means more, and vowels are interchangeable, creating various or etymology of more, such as MR also means master, Mr. Marcus is actually more or Moorish. Let us look at the synonym of MR, more, master. Master is equal to Lord, Lord and Master, Sovereign and Ruler. Etymology of Lord's root meaning is the biblical dictionary is Baal or Baal. Baal is an ancient Canaanite god that referred to as the storm god, known as Ra, Asur, Osiris, and Murdoch, among other lands. Now, Baal is in fact Bay. Baal is in reality Baal, meaning the son of El. The Al was dropped, but can also be expressed as Il or El. Ba was transliterated into Bay in Old English. Bay went into Middle English, transliterated into B-E-Y, Bay. Baba anciently means father, and Ba means son.
Hey, now stop. Now, remember when I was lecturing the other day, Noble, about Kumbaya? and I was asking everybody what they thought it meant, and everybody was saying one thing, and I'm like, everybody was, well, I won't say everybody, but a lot of the people was taught kumbaya mean come by here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when you break the ba down, when you breaking that ba down, and it's not 100% valid, but Abba, we can break it down to meaning father. So when I was breaking that kumbaya down, it was meaning come by here, father, breaking it down to how we can be easily tricked from not even researching things, basing things on no understanding and no proof. Islam? Proceed,
Islam. Also, Babe, son. Ba is where we get Ra, sun god, pronounced Ba. Ra also is Re. Be, which is the root by, or bai, meaning noble priest or priest king. When the Moroccan Empire ruled the world, also known anciently as Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa, all bailiffs were Bey, B-E-Y, lifts. The term Bey, B-E-Y, became B-A-Y and B-A-I, 12, O, Bey. Also using the hammer to pound in the truth, recent archaeological, biblical, and extra-biblical research has led scholars working in the area of the origins of Israelite region to assert rather boldly and confidently that the original God of Israel was in fact the Canaanite deity El. The name Israel is not Yahwistic, it's not a Yahwistic name. El is the name of the deity invoked in the name Israel, which translates may El preserve. This suggests that El was seen as the chief god in the formative years of El's religious practice. In fact, the etiological story explaining the origin of the name Israel occurs in Genesis 35, 9 through 15, where Jacob obtains this name through the blessings of El Shaddai, which is El of the mountain. And
hey, Noble, what's also in the biblical scripture? Emmanuel, that's the God and man, right?
Uh-huh.
And also in the biblical scripture, they have a phrase of what they call the God and woman. When they try to change our names, and I said all our names mean something, when they try to say those are black names, no, our names are vibrations. And they try to disconnect us from naming our children those names that pertain to that deity that we understand.
Islam. And so, real quick, and something when I was reading through this, something that jumped out at me, and I don't know if it jumps out at any other people. They use the word epistemology and etiological.
Yep.
And so I don't know if
Look them up, y'all.
What those words mean.
Come on. But we say this all the time. If a person don't know, you have to look it up because a person can make it up. We in school, we can't be ashamed. Come on, that's like I take you and you in law, and none of this stuff is familiar to you. And we have a test over definitions, and nobody gonna converse over the definitions. And you in a foreign land. That's not noble.
Islam. Islam. So I would definitely tell you guys, I would say just really quickly, etiology is the study of causes or origins, which is a little different than etymology / epistemology, which have similar, based off what I'm able to research so far, have similar meanings and understandings. Secondly, there exists numerous parallels and similarities between descriptions and cultural terminology used for El in the Canaanite text and for those used for Yahweh in the biblical sources, see below. At some point, it is ascertained the cultural worship of Yahweh must have been absorbed that of El, which means Yahweh assimilated both the imagery and the epithets once used of El. Finally, there is strong confirmation of the assimilation in the biblical record itself in the oldest literary traditions of the Pentateuch. It is El who regularly appears and not Yahweh, or Yahweh as El. The patriarchal narratives identify El as the deity to whom many of the early patriarchal shrines and altars were built. For example, we are informed in Genesis 33:20 that Jacob builds an altar in the old cultural center center of the north, Shechem, and dedicates it to El, God of Israel. El Elohe Yah Israel. There is no ambiguity in the Hebrew here. El must be translated as the proper name El. The textual tradition from which this text derives, the Elohist, ultimately remembers a time when El was the patron of Israel, which I had never heard of that text, or at least I hadn't recognized it, the Elohist, until I dived into this thing. So I believe that is one of 4 texts, if I'm not mistaken, that make up the Torah. That serve as the foundation for the Torah, which is interesting because I thought 4 meaning, like science, fire, earth, air, river, anyways, like the 4 horsemen and all the movies and whatever, that El was the deity worship at Shechem is also attested in Judges 9:46, which speaks of the shrine of El of the covenant. The god of the shrine at Bethel, which literally translates house of El, is additionally El, I am El of Bethel. Genesis 31:13. I'm not sure what CF.
That's cross. Yep. And 35:7.
35:7.
Yep.
Okay. And appears to Jacob as El Shaddai. 35:11. Proverbs 48:3. Jacob has another encounter with El at Penuel or Penuel, which is also named because Jacob sees El face to face. 32:31. Moreover, Isaac blesses Jacob through El Shaddai, which is 28:3. And likewise, Jacob blesses Joseph by El of your fathers, in 49:25. El who sees is given as the etymology of Bir Lahai Roy in Genesis 16:13. And we are informed that Abraham journeys to the old cultural shrine at Beersheba, where he plants and worships a tree and calls on the name El the Eternal. And at the same time, Yahweh, Genesis 21:33. Contrary to Genesis 33:20, where the Shechemite El is presented unambiguously as the God of Israel in Genesis. Hold on real quick.
It's live.
Sorry, thank you. Genesis 21:33. El is apparently already assimilated to Yahweh. See below. Finally, Genesis 14:18-22 speaks of El, the Most High, of whom the Canaanite Melchizedek, is priest at Jerusalem.
So we got to know who Melchizedek is. That's hey man.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing to argue. Like even in the 1599 Geneva Bible, when I tell people like it still calls you a Moor, they might call you a blackamoor because they didn't describe in the Moor. If you were the black, they would have called you a black. I mean, the stuff is very simple. In Spanish, negro is black beans, negro beans, but they'll just describe in the you of the Moor. You had all different variations of the Moor, but you still was a Moor. Proceed, Noble.
The assimilation between Yahweh and El, or El into Yahweh, is present in much of the priestly material as well. In fact, the priestly source largely advocates this assimilation. In Genesis 17:1, the priestly writer states that Yahweh appeared to Abram and said to him, I am El Shaddai. And Exodus 6:2-3, in contradiction to number 11, has Yahweh assert, I am Yahweh, and I appeared to Abram, to Isaac, and to Jacob as El Shaddai, and I was not known to them by the name Yahweh. Although the verse suggests an identification between Yahweh and El of the mountain, the verse also subtly recognizes an ancient distinction between the God of the patriarchs El and the God of the Mosaic era, Yahweh. Perhaps it is necessary at this point to ask, who was El, and why is he even mentioned in the Bible in the first place, let alone as the God of Israel in the old literary traditions of Genesis? Our knowledge of El predominantly comes from the Holy Quran, the Moorish Science Temple of America, Divine Fair by the noble prophet Drew Ali. Also, there is an invaluable corpus of tablets discovered of our ancient Moorish forefathers in 1929, the year of the Holy Prophet ascended out of flesh. They found in the ancient city of Ugarit, a major city-state of the second millennium BC, located on the northern coast of Syria, modern-day Rosh Hashanah. The Ugaritic tablets, they are the best available witness to Canaanite religion and religious practices today known as the old-time religion, i.e. Islamism, which is in our 101.
Hey, now watch this. A lot of times when you see people trying to diss things because it's a lack of wisdom and a lack of scholarship, when this is what you hear people say, Noble Drew Ali study Zoroastrianism. I say, me too. They don't even know what Zoroastrianism really consists of, but they say, Noble Drew Ali studies Zoroastrianism. Me too.
Right.
You know, and when we get a clear understanding, we be like, yeah, it could be named different things, but when you get at the tenets of it, it's the same thing.
Right. Another one I hear people always go, I know was a Mason, you know.
Because he had to be under a craft. He was a Mason per se.
He had to learn.
Come on, I don't get. See, Moore is the pedigree. Mason is the science. You dealing with a lot of people that's ignorant. It clearly, we talk about workmen too. Is it clearly, if our prophet wasn't a master craftsman, then why we say the European, the Moorish Mason, the Negro, no disrespect, is the son of a Muslim? Why we talk about the degrees? Why we talk about the hex alpha? Why we like all the signs and symbols? You have to be under some craft, under some initiation. I tell people, it's nothing a secret with me. It's sacred. I understand the Rosicrucian manual. This is the science. This is a craft. And so when people say they missing it, because yes, our prophet is the shrine. No, he's not a shriner. It is the shrine. We 99 degrees, 33 times 3. We ain't walking when the water freezes in meteorology, and those are the things that we do to each other. But everybody that don't look like us give honor and praise to Noble Drew Ali and the true sheiks in real life. We are able to witness this stuff in real life, Noble Lamar. That's why when people say, well, they did something, because they're not real. And you must be initiated in real life. You must. We're going to take you serious.
Right.
Proceed, Noble.
And to the background from which the religion of Israel emerged, and to the Canaanite beliefs that it shared, adopted, compromised with, and sometimes rejected. The Ugaritic literature depicts El as the sovereign deity of the Canaanite pantheon. He is frequently referred to as the father of the gods, the eternal king, or the creator of all living beings. El, other epithets include El the kind, the compassionate, the bull, the ageless one, and the father of years.
Now stop. Now watch this, y'all. You know how watch this simple. All you got to do is say agree or disagree. You know how it's 99 names of Allah, right? Well, actually, it's 100 because Allah is one. The same way when you get in the Bible scriptures, you got El this, El that, and different manifestations. El this, El Shaddai, El this, El, all different L's. When you get the Holy Name Bible and seeing those different manifestations, you will see the same thing, the similarities. Well, you got to stop dissing things. If it's 99 names of Allah, 100, and it breaks it down each manifestation, it's the same thing with that. You got El this, El that, El that, El this, El thing. Same comparison, right?
Islam. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make things clear. We don't diss nothing. We here to synchronize, man. Proceed, Noble.
Let's see. So again, he is referred to as the father of gods, the eternal king, and the creator of all living beings. El's other epithets include El the kind, the compassionate, the bull, the ageless one, and the father of years. He is depicted as bearded and residing in a tent or a tabernacle whose throne rests on cherubim.
Stop right there. Now, we talk about analogy, parables, and symbology. See, I hope everybody ain't, see, when we explain things, when we talk about it must be made plain, when we explain things esoterically and exoterically, how a lot of times in writers, they take everything that's inside and make it outside for a person can kind of get it, but the science in it is inner science. Listen to this. Listen to what this says. The El, the kind, the compassionate, the bull, the angel, the one, the father of the years. Listen to this. He is depicted as bearded and residing in a tent or a tabernacle, whose throne rests on a cherubim. The tabernacle that's built without hands is your physical body. The cherubim and the cherubim. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Got to rest in the tabernacle that's built. We ain't talking about no tent we cannot hear, big without hand. No, we talk about the tabernacle that's built without hands.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get the analogy depicted as bearded. They missing the whole analogy in the parable because they don't want to study. We're not talking about no something outside and residing in a tent. What type of tent? We're residing in this physical vessel or a tabernacle. What type of tabernacle? A tabernacle built without hands, whose throne rests on the cherubim. Huh? He is the God of blessings and of covenants. Man, come on, man. Islam. Proceed. We almost done.
There's a lot of those ancient, there's a lot of ancient depictions of bearded men.
Yes. Even a halo. When people be afraid of the light one, when I say in so-called Masonic, it's a whole bunch of, they use catchphrases. You can't be afraid of the aha moment. Everything in science, they pertain in light to a light bulb moment, something coming in, or a halo over your head, an aha, an illumination, a halo, some form of illumination, some form of raising up on the mountain, separated from those individuals. The tabernacle, the stone that was rejected is now what? The chief cornerstone. Are we making sense?
Islam.
Okay, we almost done. Noble, proceed.
If I could read.
Yes, you can.
This thing at the bottom here, which is earlier we had talked about that the old time religion was Islamism. And it had a footnote at the bottom. I just want to read dealing with Islamism. This is from an article on the Morris Guide, National Edition, 1920. Like, Islam is a very simple faith. It requires man to recognize his duty toward God, Allah, his creator, and his fellow creatures. It teaches the supreme duty of living at peace with one's surrounding. It is preeminently the religion of peace. Hey,
can y'all get that and put that somewhere? Because we need to keep making that. If we're going to add that to things how we end and things, because it's very simple. That's why we say peace, peace, peace. We're not, more science is no man-made religion. If anybody operating like that, like more science and religion, that's false. We don't teach. We teach this science. We teach that man is made in the image of the great God, Allah. We ain't saying no Allah as no Islam. We say Allah, we talking about arm, leg, arm, head. When we say Islam, we talking about I, self, law, and master. We're not giving no credit to nothing outside of ourselves. We understand that it's a creation, so it had to be a creator. We ain't going after that. We done. We respect all the laws of the prophet. And how we going to say a man or a woman or whatever you want to call it, say they love God, but hate man they see every day? We ain't seen no God, but we understand that this manifestation,
No, I don't think so.
So gratitude, Noble. Where we stopped at? We can stop right there because we've been going.
This last paragraph.
Okay, yeah.
This last paragraph right here.
Okay.
Many of these epithets and images later became assimilated to Yahweh. For example, Yahweh is often depicted as bearded, as the king of gods, as compassionate, as residing in a tent whose throne, like that of El, rests. There are, in addition to this, numerous El epithets in various strains of biblical tradition. Epithets that, through a process of assimilation and adoption, later become associated with Yahweh. We have already encountered El Shaddai, El of the mountain, like Yahweh, who was associated with the mountain of Sinai, and later in eschatological traditions with Zion, so too El resides on a mountain. Other patriarchal narratives attest to the use of El Olam, El the Eternal. So,
I think you paused, Noble.
And worships a tree at Beersheba, El Elon, or El Elyon, El the Most High, the God of Melchizedek, Genesis 14:18-24, and El Roy, or Ray, El who sees, which is Genesis 16:13. These various El epithets are associated with different shrines. El Shaddai with Bethel, El the Most High, the creator of the heavens and the earth, with Jerusalem, El the Eternal with Beersheba, El who see the Berlahai Roy, and El the God of Israel, Shechem. Many of these shrines and altars to El were established by the patriarchs themselves, e.g. Genesis 21:33, 28:18, 33:20, and 35:14. It is also meant to suggest that the name Yahweh might have originally been a cultural epithet of El. The etymology of Yahweh, YHYH, is still unclear, although we know. But it is one proposal is to see it as a causative imperfect of the Canaanite Proto-Hebrew verb HWY, which is to be.
Now watch this. Now watch this, Barry. Now when we say Aya, Asher, Aya, right? I will be what I will to be, right? So when we break down now we dealing with science because we dealing now. When you see the Baphomet, we talk about the male and the female. Now connect the science because we got to give respect to both. When you can see the science all over the place, symbology. The Baphomet is written what? Kabbalistically, right? That's the true alchemist. That's Temp holds Ab's Abba. Understand that. So when we say the YHWH, we got to give credit to the male and the female, the Yah and the Way. When we deal with the A and the E, the Yah and the Way, the male and the female. So when you deal with hieroglyphics and things, because they didn't deal with certain letters and things, but when you deal with the manifestation, when you deal with signs and symbols, just like how we did, just like you can take YHWH and stand it up and it symbolizes the body, just like the pentagram or the so-called 5-point star symbolizes man, arm, leg, arm, head. All this stuff is signs and symbols. So when we start breaking things down, using our science, using gematria, understanding all the signs and the symbols, and if you have the alphabet, it's easy to put the science together because that's what science is. It's male and female. There's no other way. Immaculate conception, 9 months, child. Right?
Yeah.
It's no secret. It's science. And when it's explained in that manifestation, just like, man, I stayed across the street from these Jehovah's Witness family. They were cool people, but I have the original literature. A lot of the literature they have, and it's old. I got the original Jehovah's Witness little blue book. It's all the pages. If you touch them hard, they'll fall apart. And right in the introduction, it talks about the YHWH. It talks about why it's so important and why the name was hidden. Clearly in the introduction. And then I can go all over the place and it talks about the Yod and all this stuff. Do I break it down? You'll be like, oh, okay. Because everything's, remember, the truth is, and the lie is strangely mixed. So if that's the fact, and if that's the case, you have to be a scientist and a researcher and be in your laboratory with your test tubes and your beakers and be able to pull out the truth out of that science and burn the hell the rest up, right? Okay. Let's finish up. Let's finish this up because we've been going for an hour. Let's go ahead and finish this last paragraph and open we out of here.
Okay, you want me to do the one at the bottom of this page?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 points to be taken away from this passage. First, the passage represents apparently an old mythic theme that describes when the divine beings, that is, each deity in the divine council, were assigned out of their own nation. Israel was the nation that Yahweh received. Second, Yahweh received his divine portion, Israel, or Isis Ra-El, through an action initiated by the god El, here identifiable through his epithet, the Most High. In other words, the passage depicts 2 gods. One, the Most High, El, is seen as assigning nations to divine beings or gods. The Hebrew word is Elohim, plural, gods. In his council, the other, Yahweh, is depicted as receiving from the first God, the Most High, his particular allotment, namely the people of Israel. Similarly, in another tradition, older tradition now preserved in Numbers 20:29, the god Chemos is assigned to the people of Moab.
Now, I hope we clearly getting a pictorial of what's going on. When you see inserters, when they say a prophet and an angel, why they don't want, because they insert things. You always had a prophet and an angel. People always had a prophet and an angel. Why? Because the prophet and the angel comes in the voice of those people. How can you be a prophet and an angel and you come in with a whole different language? I'll give an analogy. Noble Lamarck and his tribe, they speak Bantu. And here I am coming with English. And I'm saying, well, the first thing I'm going to do is try to change y'all language. So I can't teach y'all nothing. Y'all don't know what I'm saying. How can I teach y'all anything? And I'm coming with a different language. That's asinine. I'm trying to convert you. So I'm coming with the language. A prophet and an angel comes in the voice of the people. Has been raised. That's the problem with us. We looking for outside prophets. No, don't you want to deal with your brother that's been raised mentally, spiritually, physically, and all we got to do is to be a part of it? That's what this is about. Anything else? That was it, Noble? Or did you want to? That was it?
Yeah, I think that was.
So we'll stop right there.
I think that was it.
Yeah, we'll stop right there because we got a lot more to go, man. How we break down commentary, how names and things, etymology. We here to build, and we a body of Moors that love to study. And we welcome people to be private with us because we open it up on YouTube and on our Temple and School page just to bring Moors in, to come privately on Zoom, because that's what we have the right to do. You know, I challenge everybody to get books from us from mypdfbooks.com, book with a Z. Check out mooreshaberdasher.com. But we're going to be uploading lectures on our bbtsciencetemple.com page in the near future. I know we're going to set that up. So if you can't come live, you can go right on our Temple and School page and view the lecture for a small donation. And everybody that joined today, gratitude for the donations, man. Any questions, man? Anybody? No one?
No, I would say that I didn't until I really started.
You breaking up, Noble.
Then you can. I'm saying by reading the Bible verses that they reference in there. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
It allowed me to start better understanding the whole, prophet, coming to people. You know what I mean? Because there is a number of, gods or prophets that are assigned to the people throughout the Bible. And so it's starting to make more sense, shall I say?
It should. And then we'll digress today. Like today, more act like they the only one. It's like, man, go sit your goofy ass down. Excuse my candor. Like Noble Drew Ali, the only one. Yeah, for the people, I just told you. And then after Noble Drew Ali, we had Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley. Well, y'all give y'all the text. The IDMR text is clear. He was a prophet in the time with all the charts, man made in the image of Elohim. He didn't get into the law part because his mission was to show you that manifestation, your connection to man and God. That was his mission. He made it plain for the people, made it with charts. Our prophet took it in the lawful aspect. So we give credit to all the laws and the prophet, to all the scholars and the prophet that was in the flesh that did a good duty. That's what we here for. All that other stuff is crazy. To act like these Negroes the only one and they're not even educated. They're not even building nothing. They're just here for distractions. That ain't what we're here for. So I give gratitude to the body. I give gratitude that those here. And if y'all want to learn and be a part of something and continue to learn, because today was our Adapt training. Tomorrow we got Sunday school, and it's going to be our last viewing on YouTube. I'm challenging everybody to try to join us privately on Zoom. And if you can't join us live, you'll be able to go on our BBT Science Temple and School page. But any questions, man? We good, Morris? Islam? Anybody got anything? We good? Well, let's do our Moorish American prayer and get out of here. And if anybody got our benediction up, can we give that as well? If anybody got it.
I don't have a hand. I can probably pull it up.
Brian, you got it?
I got to pull it up as well.
Okay. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my guide, my protector, and my salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Shalom Malakim. Aya Asha'aya. Peace, 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 peace. Salam alaikum, man. Peace and love to everyone. We got that benediction out. If not, yes or no?
I don't have it up yet.
Okay. I don't want to hold too much of y'all time. We've been an hour, so I give gratitude. We had a good workout this morning. Brian, you got it? Not yet?
I can say one quick thing more.
Yeah.
You know, just the teaching you were just talking, you know, just in terms of navigating, like you said, I mean, this just shows more how we could use L on at the end of our family name, you know, when we operating in commerce or business or anything we doing. This is just more.
You must. You must.
To educate people who don't understand.
You must, Maso, as you come to understanding, you must. The O become, you got to. What's the purpose of representing yourself non-verbally if you're not going to do all those things when you sign it? You must annex your L or your Bay. That's resolution 75. You must. You must. You must. And then you part of a tribe. So you got two worlds. You ain't just proclaiming, declaring, and having due process. You're part of a tribe. You part of the religious rights of indigenous people that can be looked up. We ain't here to play no games. No matter if nobody like it or not. Everybody has the right to assimilate and to be a part of their own nation state. Everyone has the right to do that if you organize. Look at Bailey with her. Oh, I see you. What's up, Empress? Hi, Bailey. Hi, Bailey. Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
How you doing? You look very beautiful with your purple fez on.
Thanks.
I love it, man. I love it. You're gonna get a white one real soon too, okay?
Yep.
Yep. But you look very, 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 how can I say it? You look like a young empress. Mayat. You look like young Mayat. I love it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, put it back and let me see. Now I can see you better. Bam. Woo! Don't kill him, Bailey.
Mm-hmm. It's actually like a little purple. It's not actually, the maroon. That we have, which is actually kind of cool because she's got a purple jacket, like a peacoat. She got a purple peacoat, and so when we wore it the other day to the Home Depot, I'm pretty sure that, this brother was a Mason. I'm starting to really see, see the behavior and the mannerisms and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we're kind of approaching each other, about to pass each other, he notices her with the fez on. He kind of saw me at first, but then he looked down and noticed her. And then he looked back up to me, and then he just smiled and he said respect.
Yeah.
And I said respect.
Yeah.
And then he just kept on walking.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah. It's amazing, man. I give gratitude to you for that witness, man, and that seed and that development. That's what this is about, man. And it's just an honor. Like you said, we're going to see all of us and our children with fezzes on and turbans, like proudly. Like it's an honor. My household, your household and that's what we say, the growth. It's no force. It's the growth. You know what I mean? We out here with turbans and fezzes, and we pleasure to be around. So I give gratitude. Again. You find it, Brian? If not, we can get out of here, man.
I got it. I found it.
Oh, okay. You got it. Gratitude.
Yeah,
Noble.
I found it.
Gratitude. Can we do it real fast and get out of here?
Sure. May the benefit of Allah be upon thee and thine always, as thou should strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thine acts of love upon thy brethren, and do the best to shun thine evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that you might nourish the souls of men. Let truth be the shield in the manifest battle of falsehood. Know that Moors need not to pick the lock of the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. For behold, the key to salvation already rests within thine own hands. And yes, Even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconsistency, there still is the greater portion of our nature that is divine. May Allah protect thee, guide thee, preserve thee, lengthen thy age, and give thee everlasting peace. Islam, Islam, Islam,
Peace,
Islam.
peace, 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 peace. Love y'all, man. So we all, see y'all tomorrow for workout, man. Then see y'all for Sunday school, man. We in the Morris Quran, what, chapter what, Noble, 5 or 6?
No, we in
7?
and 8.
We in 7 and 8? Islam.
Yeah.
Islam. Well, man.
I'll check to verify, but I think so.
All right. Well, gratitude and peace, nobles.
Yeah, let me check, huh? All right.
Yep.
All right, and I'll get with you regarding the land once we figure out, that trip to the land.
Okay. Yep. We'll figure that out and everything.
Trying to coordinate that with Malik because he's coming back in a couple of days for a quick return trip. Basically coming back home and change up and stuff like that, drop his clothes off and take off again. And so I'm trying to coordinate with him to make sure that when he comes back, that we can take off right again, that his work here, he's back into the regular rotation or the schedule. And he said he needs to wait until he comes back to be able to just verify kind of what it is. So
it's all good.
I'm talking to the out there and I'm already giving him that tentative date and I'm already pushing to, to start getting the tickets and everything for that. So we can try to lock that in.
Okay. Yeah, keep me posted because I'll get mine too, so I can lock it in.
Okay. I'll keep you posted if we change it, but I think that'll work for us.
Okay.
That weekend of that 14th.
Whatever worked for y'all, worked for me, man.
Yeah, it is, man. I'm excited. So
I am too.
Cool.
I'm excited too. I'm excited.
He said I couldn't find it, man. He said I'm sorry. He said I just, he said it's a long drive and with the gas prices, he said I can't be wasting gas. I said I get it. We'll meet you out there and we'll take you right there to it. So
okay. Well, Islam to that.
Yeah.
All right. See y'all tomorrow, man. Islam.
Recording stopped.